What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book, Kong comic book, and Godzilla comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2, issue number 6. This one is written by Brian Buccellato with artwork by Christian Duce. And this issue is a really awesome one, and it's given me some of the things that I've been wanting with this crossover to do, since we've acknowledged that they're jumping on in an earlier point in the MonsterVerse timeline. But because of the presence of the Justice League and characters like Lee Shaw, who we come to find out isn't from the MonsterVerse Earth version of Earth, it's from the DC Universe version of Earth. Now, there are some overlap and there are some discrepancies in it, but I thought that was kind of interesting. But this allows for the opportunity to see Kong and other Titans cross over with each other who wouldn't have had the chance to, given where the MonsterVerse is at in the current timeline. For instance, one thing I mentioned previously, we're seeing the Great Apes. I really hope we get to see Scar King and Shimo show up to confront Ghidorah in that, because that's something a lot of fans have wanted to see. And based on what happens here, it looks like we're actually going to get that in the next issue, which I think is pretty awesome. So, issue opens up with Wally trying to cover for Barry's ass about, like, telling Iris about the whole thing, but then she's like, oh yeah, I knew you were the Flash the whole time. So there's stuff going on Earth. Ghidorah is free. Godzilla was hurt badly. We also see characters like Rick Stanton from King of the Monsters. That was Bradley Whitford's character, show up as well at some point. So it's kind of nice that some of these other lesser characters in the MonsterVerse are getting acknowledged again. Like, I didn't think we'd see Rick Stanton again anytime soon, but alas, here we are. I mean, I enjoyed Bradley Whitford in that movie. He was pretty fun. But yeah, so a lot of the Titans are converging on Machu Picchu. Ghidorah is kind of the alpha right here. Like, Rodan's under his control of sorts. We see Behemoth, we see Scylla, we see Rodan, Godzilla, Kong, and Ghidorah and all that. Kong is meanwhile in Hollow Earth. Goes to the place he was looking at in Godzilla vs. Kong, where he goes to get his axe, which makes me wonder, is he going to get his axe from this location? So he goes to do that. We have Superman, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl kind of following along. They confront Luthor, Shaw, and Black Manta. Now, we saw in the first beginning where Lee Shaw killed Amanda Waller, but we also see a Titan-sized Cheetah facing off against Kong, and when somebody's Titan-sized, they kind of lose a lot of their brain functionality and become more animalistic and rage-fueled, which we've seen with King Shark, and now we're seeing with Cheetah, who doesn't really have a grasp on things. But one thing that does call to her is Ghidorah's alpha call, as we come to find out. So I like, too, that this moment right here, it's definitely a nice callback to the moment in King of the Monsters. So as a King of the Monsters fan, I'm really digging what they're doing here, but also, it feels like this is a big love letter to that movie, a big love letter to Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla Kong the New Empire. Now, we don't have Godzilla Evolved, but we are getting characters like Scar King finally showing up in this thing. They also do acknowledge that they are at an earlier point in the timeline before the whole Mechagodzilla, post-Godzilla vs. Kong timeline. So that's why Godzilla doesn't recognize certain aspects to him, to things. So I thought that was kind of a neat concept right there. Kong and Cheetah have a pretty cool battle, but Ghidorah's alpha call calls to her, so she goes to the surface. Lee Shaw gets killed by Black Manta. Now, this isn't MonsterVerse Lee Shaw. This is the prime DC Earth, Lee Shaw, in a sense. So I thought that was kind of neat and interesting. But yeah, so Ghidorah's alpha call also, like I said, calls the big reveal to me is Shimo, Scar King, and several of the Great Apes. So Scar King has emerged from the depths of the Hollow Earth and is going to go confront Ghidorah with the Great Apes and Shimo, which I'm really excited about that. Now, a lot of people have been wanting to see this. We're like, well, Ghidorah's dead. We can't really get these characters crossing over. But if you go back to an alternate point in the timeline, incorporate other characters, now we can get to see some of the scenarios that we couldn't necessarily see before based on the movies, and I think that's really exciting. And then we get, towards the end of the issue, Martian Manhunter turns into a giant kaiju, so he's going to fight Ghidorah, but he's got the other Titans there too, and he's vulnerable to fire, which is what Rodan has with the fire demon. So a lot of exciting stuff. Next issue is the big fight. I think that is the final issue of this thing, but overall consensus, this was really awesome, and it's given me the chance to see things I've always wanted to see. Now we're going to finally see, at least I hope so, now that Scar King and Shimo and the Great Apes are arriving, to see them confront Ghidorah and all that, and then you'll have Kong in there as well. Maybe he's going to get the axe and go into fight. I also liked Aquaman going to see Godzilla, because beforehand he referenced, we had the thing with the Kraken, but wait a minute, that was at a different point in the timeline, so Godzilla wouldn't recognize that aspect. So maybe it's going to be a nice callback to the goodbye old friend scene, because Godzilla was hurt pretty badly, so now he needs time to recover. So Aquaman will probably do something to kind of help heal him, and maybe they'll form some of that kind of Serizawa Godzilla-like bond that we'd seen before. So, and again, the goodbye old friend scene is actually my favorite moment in the MonsterVerse, where Serizawa makes a sacrifice to save Godzilla's life. It was a nice, genuine kind and touching moment. So I really like this thing as a MonsterVerse fan. It's all the stuff I want to see. As a DC fan, it's giving me the stuff I want to see as well, and just kind of bringing some of my favorite worlds together in a fun, epic, awesome crossover. So if you get the chance to, be sure to definitely check this thing out. It's definitely well worth your time. A lot of cool stuff. So, but anyways, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I know I'm very, very behind on my comic book videos, but I wanted to get this one out today. Later on tonight, my Jaws 3D video goes live. I will catch back up with comic book stuff once I am finished with Jaws week. I got the first 5 videos all done, and I'm editing like the 6th and 7th ones, which are going to take a little bit of time, but those have just been taking up my free time, so I haven't really had time to sit down and read, but I wanted to get this one out right away. So be sure to come back later on tonight for that. Once I get Jaws week done, I got like 10, 12, 15 comic books or whatever to catch up on before next week. So I'm going to be playing catch up on a lot of stuff, so I apologize for the delay in a lot of this stuff. But anyways, I want to let you all know that. That's why comics have been delayed for a little bit. It's just because I've been very busy trying to finish up this other series. I'm like, either I neglect this or I don't. So I got to get this one thing done first, and then I'll jump back into this other stuff. But I really want to talk about this one first because I had a brief moment during my lunch hour. So anyways, that's all I really have to say. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this issue in the comment section down below. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.